Hello students, I am Meenakshi Taneja, your English teacher, and today we are going to start our grammar book, and its name is New Grammar with a Smile, and its publication is Headwords. Let's begin with its first chapter, that is the sentence. The sentence that we have already learnt in our previous classes also. So here is an exercise. That exercise is to check our previous knowledge. Let's do it. What we need to do in this exercise is to identify these expressions as phrase, clause or sentence. So let me remind you that what's a phrase? Phrase is a group of words that is not complete in its sense and it doesn't contain subject and verb in it. Clause is again a group of words but it contains subject and verb in itself. Whereas sentence is a group of words that makes a complete sense and it contains subject and verb also. So let's do the exercise. First sentence is flowers bloom in spring. This is a group of words that contains subject and verb and it's making a complete sense. So we can call it a sentence. Second one is in spring. It's a group of words that doesn't make a complete sense and it doesn't contain subject and verb in it. So it's a phrase. Third one is sigh with relief. It's again a group of words but it's not making a complete sense and doesn't have subject and verb in it. So again it's a phrase. Fourth one, and we greeted each other. It's again a group of words that again doesn't make a complete sense but it has subject and verb in it. So it's a clause. That group of words that contain subject and verb in it but doesn't make a complete sense, that is a clause. Then fifth one is because it was raining. It's again not making a complete sense but it has subject and verb, so it's again a clause. Sixth one, the plan of the city. It's a group of words, doesn't have subject and verb in it and doesn't making a complete sense, so it's a phrase. Seventh one, at the station. It's again a group of words that doesn't make complete sense and has a subject and verb, so it's again a phrase. Eighth one, are you going to the mall? It's a group of words that is complete in its sense and it has verb, subject, again a verb, so it's a complete sentence. It's a senseful sentence. Ninth one, until I come back. It's again a group of words, it's incomplete and it has subject and verb in it, so it's a clause. 10th one is what a happy baby she is. It's making a complete sense. This group of words is making a complete sense. It has a subject and verb as well, right? So it's a sentence. It's a sentence. Now let's know more about the sentences. Read these groups of words. These are groups of words. Leaking the is roof. It's not making a proper sense. These made of are stone houses. This is again not making a proper sense. They are senseless. They are group of words but not making any sense. So we can call them unjumbled words. So let's rejumble them and make a proper sentence that are senseful. After making them a proper senseful sentences, they become the roof is leaking. And now we can call this group of words a proper sentence. Next is these houses are made of stone. It's again a complete sentence as it's making a complete sense. So this proves that the group of words that make a complete sense, that is called a sentence. Alright, that is called a sentence. That makes a complete sense. Here is a proper definition of the sentence. A group of words that conveys complete sense is called a sentence. That conveys a complete sense. Then is a sentence always begins with the capital letter. As you may see in this also, the sentence is always beginning with the capital letter and ends with the full stop, an exclamation mark or a question mark. Full stop, a dot, exclamation mark is this one, and question mark this one. It also has a subject and a verb. It's also compulsion that there should be a subject and a verb. Now read these groups of words. A nice story, a gang of thieves, a beautiful dress. These group of words make sense but not complete sense. So we can't call them a sentence. Alright? A group of words that conveys some sense but not complete sense. Some sense but not complete sense is called a phrase. A phrase does not have a subject or a finite verb. Clear? Remember that a phrase does not have a subject or a finite verb. It's a group of words senseful but not making a complete sense. So these are phrases. Now read these group of words. Because it was raining and the thieves escaped, but he went there anyway before they go to the airport. These groups of words make sense but not complete sense. Each group of words has a subject and a verb. Here it is the only difference between these group of words and phrases, as it contains subject and a verb. Here it is the subject, it is a subject, and was raining is a verb. The thieves is subject and escaped is a verb. He is the subject and went is the verb. They is the subject and go is the verb. It's a group of words that is not complete in its sense, but it contains subject and verb. So they are clauses. Here it is the definition of clauses. A group of words that conveys some sense but not complete sense, just like phrase. But difference between phrase and clause is that it also has a subject and a finite verb, whereas phrase does not have a subject and a finite verb. Alright? So it's a phrase and it's a clause. Clear? Now here comes the section of dependent and independent clauses. Now read these sentences. They are made up of two clauses. The first one is, Mr. Jones asked him a question, but he did not know the answer. This is first clause and this is the second one. Here are the two clauses. The highlighted clauses can stand alone because they convey complete meaning. It is the highlighted clause. It can stand alone. It's a senseful in itself. Whereas the other clause doesn't make a complete sense. It can't stand alone because they do not convey complete meaning. They depend on the highlighted. This clause is depend on the highlighted one. So the highlighted clause that convey a complete meaning and can stand alone, they are called independent clause. They are called independent clause or main clause, right? And the other clause that needs the clause that make it complete. To make a complete sense, it needs the another clause. So that is a subordinate or dependent clause, because it in itself it doesn't complete. It needs another clause to complete its meaning. Let's look in the another example, that is call me. Call me, it's highlighted and it's complete in itself. It doesn't need another clause to complete, to make a complete sense. Whereas this clause is incomplete, as it needs this clause to make a complete sense. So the complete one is independent clause and the incomplete one is dependent clause or subordinate clause. Clear? Another one is, since we were hungry, we stopped at the dhaba on the way. So it's the complete one. We stopped at a dhaba on the way. It can stand alone. It's making a complete sense. So this section is independent, whereas this section needs this section to make a complete sense. Alright, it can't stand alone. So this section is dependent. Next example is, although he was unwell, he went to school. This section is complete. It can stand alone. So it's independent clause, and this section can't stand alone. It needs this one to complete its sense. So it's dependent clause. Alright, so we can read this definition also. Clauses which convey complete meaning and can stand alone are called main or independent clauses, whereas clauses which depend on independent clause to convey complete sense are called subordinate or dependent clauses. Alright, let's do this exercise to know more about independent clauses and dependent clauses. So the first one is, this is the house where my father was born. First we need to recognize the two clauses in the sentences. The first clause is this one and another clause is this one. So now let's know that which is independent clause and which one is the dependent clause. This is the house. This is complete a sentence that is senseful and it can stand alone. This is the house. So this is independent clause. Let's circle it. And the another clause is where my father was born. It needs this clause to make a complete sense. So it's a dependent clause. The second one is, God helps those who help themselves. Let's recognize the two clauses. God helps those. This is the first clause. Who help themselves. This is the second clause. Independent is God helps those, as it can stand alone. Whereas who helps themselves need this clause to complete its sense. The third one is, if you come early. This is the first clause. We will play a few games on the computer, and this is the second clause. And the which clause is making a complete sense? This one. We will play a few games on the computer. Alright, so it's independent and this one is dependent, as it needs this one to make a complete sense. Fourth one is, I will go to Shimla. This is the first clause. When the weather is fine. This is the second clause. Independent clause is, I will go to Shimla. It's making a complete sense. Whereas this clause needs this one to make a complete sense. Fifth one is, if we leave early for the station. The first clause, we will not get much traffic. This is the second clause. And independent one is, we will not get much traffic. Let's circle it. And the dependent clause is, if we leave early for the station, as it is not complete in its sense. Next one is when the teacher entered the class. This is the first clause. He found that it was very noisy. This is the second clause. And the independent one is he found that it was very noisy. Next is I didn't study because I forgot I had an exam today. So let's find out the clauses. I didn't study, and the next clause is because I forgot I had an exam today. And the independent one is I didn't study. Next is I will call you when the film is over. I will call you. This is the first clause. When the film is over is the second clause. Independent clause is this one. I will call you, as it's making a complete sense. Whereas when the film is over, it's not complete in itself. It needs I will call you, this clause, to make a complete sense. Next is I planted the flowers. This is the first clause. Because I like flowers, this is the second clause. And the independent clause is I planted the flowers. It's making a complete sense. It can stand alone. Whereas because I like flowers, it can't stand alone. It doesn't make a complete sense. So it's a dependent clause. Next is I could not go for a jog. This is independent clause. Whereas because I woke up late, this is dependent clause. Alright? It's not making a complete sense. Whereas I could not go for a jog, it's making a complete sense. It can stand alone. So it's independent clause. So in this way we have completed this session. So this is all for today, and if you have any kind of doubt, you may ask in the comment box. And till then, keep practicing and take care. We will meet in future. Alright, bye bye.